Hey, it's Mrs. Haynes. I'm going to record a quick video about radian angle measures, a specific problem type that Hawk's Learning has in the section about radian angle measurement. So what you've got is it's asking you to tell me what the radian measurement of an angle is. And the thing to remember about angle measurements, when they're on a coordinate plane like this, here's your x-axis, here's your y-axis, is first thing you look for is the sine of your angle. Okay, you're going to have an arrow in the middle. It's going to start off touching the x-axis, and then it's going to spiral or arc away from it in either going counterclockwise or up from the x-axis, or it's going to start at the x-axis and spiral down or clockwise around. I mean, you might just get an arc, you might have it go around a couple times and end on something like that. If it starts at the x and goes up, that's positive. If it starts here on the x-axis and goes down, it's going to be a negative angle. So that'll start you off with what kind of angle you've got. This entire problem type is dependent on you recognizing common radian measure, like chunk sizes, I guess is the way to think about it. If you have, I'm going to draw the x and the y-axis again over here, x and the y-axis. Radian measures, like if I start over here at positive x, radian measures are always measured in pieces of pi, pi being the number pi, not like an actual pie or even cutting up a pie like this is a whole pie. Pi is, if you have pi radians, that equals 180 degrees. And I don't know if you've done this yet, where, it should be part of this kind of lesson. It should be in this vicinity of this lesson. 2 pi radians is the same as 360 degrees. So if I were to start at x and go positive up all the way around and end at the x-axis again, I would have gone 360 degrees, and that's something that we kind of are comfortable with. We're comfortable with these degree measures. 2 pi is how far you've gone, if you go like that, in the radian measurement. 180 degrees is always pi, so if I start over on positive x, and I go in the positive direction, go up or counterclockwise, and I end over here, that is pi radians, or 180 degrees. So if this arc chunk is pi, if I were to have only gone halfway, if I would have gone 90 degrees, that would have been half of pi. And it's written like a fraction, pi divided by 2. And that's 90 degrees. So if I had done from here to here instead, that's 90 degrees. If I were to land on a 45 degree angle, something halfway between an x and a y axis, those guys are multiples of 45 degrees, which is half of 90, right? Which is half of a half, which is a fourth of pi, pi over 4. And you can kind of see, I've got something that's almost 45 degrees here. 45 degrees. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4 equal chunks of pi. I don't know if they do 30 and 60. 30 and 60 is another division that you see a lot. 30 degrees being 1/6 of pi, and 60 degrees being a third of pi. I don't know if this particular problem type goes into that, but pi over 3 radians is 60 degrees, and pi over 6 radians is the same thing as 30 degrees. So if you have something that doesn't land on exactly on a middle line, if it's part way down, use pi over 6 to measure it, and then simplify your fractions if you have to. So let's say you do have an angle that goes around more than just to one of these exact measurements. Like it's not exactly pi over 2, it's not exactly pi over 4, it goes somewhere else. Let's say, in fact, I know yours lands over here on this ray, this direction, which is halfway between this positive y and negative x axis. So it's going to be a 45 degree multiple, some sort of multiple of pi over 4. Let's say I'm going positive. I know yours goes negative, but I think you can probably extrapolate. If mine goes positive And it doesn't just go there, but it goes like around and keeps going and then hits it on the second rotation. I like to think of it like this. I don't know if I have a different color pen. I got a pencil, maybe that'll help. I like to think about it like this. I like to sort of, if you sketch it out, you can always draw yourself 45-degree guidelines or pi over 4 guidelines here and here, and that like x equals y and x equals negative y, or y equals negative x and y equals x, however you want to think about it. If I start right here, I look the direction I'm going, I'm positive in this case. I go positive, and then every time I hit one of these lines, that's a quarter pi. So 1/4 pi, 2/4 pi, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This angle, as I've drawn it, is 11